Beijing uses American technology to power hypersonic missiles, threatening U.S. We are not alone in vast universe, UFO and alien secrets revealed. Mandarin learning boom as China extends its soft power in Middle East. It's all covered in today's Understand China. Beijing uses American technology to power hypersonic missiles, threatening U.S. Able to attack any target on the Earth at extremely high speeds within 1 hour, hypersonic missiles are changing the global war game. Currently, China and Russia already have hypersonic missiles, but the U.S. does not. The Wall Street Journal reported on September 15 that hypersonic missiles can carry conventional explosives or nuclear warheads, flying at 20 times the speed of sound. With speeds of more than 15,000 miles an hour, it can attack targets hidden in any corner of the Earth. Most of the world's existing air defense systems are not capable of intercepting such missiles because of their extremely high speeds and unpredictable trajectories. What worries the West is that the U.S. does not have such a powerful deterrent weapon, but China and Russia are leading in this field. According to the report, it is not that America is incapable of developing such weapons, but because its focus in the past 20 years has been on terrorists and insurgencies, hypersonic missiles are not needed in these wars. Now, the Pentagon is aware of the gap and plans to invest more than $5 billion in weapons development in 2023 while encouraging private companies to participate in research and development. Although the U.S. does not have hypersonic missiles, the results of American hypersonic research have been published in various scientific journals and are found to have been utilized by Beijing. Among other things, American researchers published on computational fluid dynamics, which helps model hypersonic flight, only to see China develop codes that clearly used those developed in the U.S. Richard Hall-Ion, an aerospace analyst who has followed hypersonics closely for more than 50 years, said, "We basically trained the world in hypersonics." Top-secret U.S. intelligence reports revealed in the Discord leak state that the latest Dongfeng 27, DF-27, hypersonic glide missile was successfully tested in February, and that it can threaten targets well out into the Pacific. DF-27 is in the Dongfeng series, and all Dongfeng series missiles are capable of delivering nuclear warheads. The report said that the missile possesses a high probability of penetrating U.S. ballistic missile defenses. The leaked document revealed the DF-27 flew for 12 minutes and traveled 2,100 kilometers, 1,300 miles. Its range is significantly more than that. A 2021 Defense Department report cited by the Washington Post said the DF-27 has a range of 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers, meaning that it can strike any target in East or Southeast Asia and large parts of the Pacific, including Guam. The document notes that Beijing already has a small stockpile of DF-27 missiles in its arsenal. We are not alone in vast universe, UFO and alien secrets revealed. The bodies of 2 alleged alien beings were exhibited before politicians in a special session of the Mexican Congress on September 13. The fossilized bodies, presented by journalist and self-proclaimed UFO scientist, or ufologist, Jamie Mawson, and displayed in glass cases, were retrieved from Cusco in Peru in 2017 and are said to be 1,000 years old. Testifying under oath, Mawson said, "These specimens are not part of the evolution of our world, they were not recovered from a UFO scrap, they were found fossilized in a diatom moss mine." According to Mawson, almost a third of their DNA was unknown and the specimens were not part of our terrestrial evolution. He said X-rays had shown one to have eggs inside. The session in the Mexican Congress comes weeks after another in front of the U.S. Congress, but this appearance was much more sensational in its content. Mawson said the samples were analyzed by the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM, and the scientists who managed to get DNA samples from the specimens and used radiocarbon testing to determine their age. However, despite the intensive examination, the fossils were found to be covered with a layer of sand. Arguing that the public has the right to learn about non-human beings and technologies, Mawson said, "We are not alone in the vast universe, we need to accept this reality." Mawson was accompanied at the session by former U.S. pilot Ryan Graves and Avi Loeb, professor of astrophysics at Harvard University. Graves also presented evidence at a hearing in the U.S. Congress in July. It is now generally accepted in scientific and political circles that there are unusual phenomena that cannot be identified, but there are still disbelief and ridicule. Astronomer Michael Garrett, a professor at the University of Manchester, told Mail Online, "If this was real, we'd see proper scientific data and evidence being presented by experts, published in papers that would be appearing in peer-reviewed journals like Nature or Science." Garrett added, "Other scientists would be scrutinizing the data and forming their own independent analysis. That's how science works." In a statement published 2 days before Mawson appeared in front of Congress, the UNAM did not directly confirm or deny his bombshell claims. But it added, "Just as detectives carefully analyze the crime scene looking for evidence, scientists meticulously analyze the data obtained in observatories. The most interested in the search for extraterrestrial life are scientists, and we will continue to look for it with the rigor that science demands." Quoting Carl Sagan, "Extraordinary statements require extraordinary evidence." The renowned American astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson did not rule out that specimens could be real. Speaking on Piers Morgan and censored on Talk TV, he said, "If those are actual aliens, that would be amazing." Tyson added, "But in science you need verification from independent sources, so what they should do is share the data with other laboratories, and when you have agreement among what is measured, then you can talk about a discovery." Regarding UFOs, mainland China has seen many in recent days. Particularly, on September 13, UFO became a hot topic since people in many parts of China took photos of unidentified flying objects high in the sky, which disappeared after a minute or so. It is reported that from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on September 13, in different places, including Shaanxi, Inner Mongolia, Hunan, Shandong, Jiangsu, Beijing, and Liaoning, residents observed objects flying at high speed in the sky. At present, it is impossible to determine whether these objects are the same. However, netizens across the nation have taken similar pictures, showing 2 beams of bright light. In this regard, citing an astronomy expert at a Chinese observatory on September 14, Apollo News reported that she sent online videos to many astronomy experts, and they all agreed that this phenomenon was like a rocket cloud formed after launching some kind of spacecraft, and it was a man-made spectacle. Experts also said that after a certain aircraft is launched from the ground, high temperatures will be generated at the tail, and coupled with strong airflow, it will form a strange phenomenon like a searchlight, which can be seen day or night. In fact, UFOs have appeared many times in mainland China recently, arousing people's curiosity about whether UFOs really exist in the world. Local media reported in early September that UFOs appeared in Jinan, Shandong province 3 times on the 1, 5, and 6 of this month. According to photos released by the 7 Stars Observatory in Jinan, Shandong province, the first time showed a black object with a fast descending speed, the second time presented 2 black ring-shaped objects, and a luminous body with flashes of light falling from a high place was seen in the third time. At about 2 a.m. on September 1, a black UFO was photographed sliding down to the ground in Shandong. In the evening of the same day, residents in Shanghai also saw a suspected white UFO falling vertically, accompanied by a fireball of gas which looked like it was burning. While the topic of unidentified objects has long been of public interest, the U.S. Department of Defense on August 31 has launched a website intended to be a one-stop shop for publicly available information on unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, more commonly known as UFOs. Citing Pentagon spokesman Brig Gen Pat Ryder, CNN reported that the site will also serve as an information hub of resolved UAP cases, including photos and videos as soon as they're declassified. Democratic Rep. Robert Garcia of California said during the hearing in July, UAPs, whatever they be, may pose a serious threat to our military and our civilian aircraft, and that must be understood. He added, "We should encourage more reporting, not less on UAPs. The more we understand, the safer we will be." Mandarin learning boom as China extends its soft power in Middle East. While interest in learning Mandarin declines in the West, Middle Eastern children are attending classes in China's official language as part of a geopolitical shift in a region that has been traditionally regarded as a sphere of U.S. influence. Saudi Arabia, the largest Arab country in the Middle East, last month mandated Mandarin lessons in all public and private secondary schools, which are expected to extend classes to second-year pupils in this academic year. According to the Saudi Gazette news portal, each secondary school class will be assigned a facilitator who is expected to support and guide self-learning among the pupils. Ma Yongliang, who opened a Chinese language institute in Riyadh in October, followed by a second center in August at the commercial hub Jeddah, said fluency in Mandarin held broad implications in an era of geopolitical change. Ma, a former Arabic language lecturer in northwestern China's Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region, believed that China is an emerging power, so, if you want to cooperate with or engage with China, speaking Chinese is an inevitable skill. Some 50 students have enrolled in the Riyadh Institute, where they are taught by teachers from China. There are about 20 students at the second center, which started trial operations in Jeddah last month. The extension of Chinese language education into Saudi secondary schools follows a 2019 agreement struck during Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's visit to Beijing, to have Mandarin lessons at all levels of the curriculum, including in universities. The agreement marked a significant step in China's global cultural push, which has been set back by the increasing scrutiny on everything from technologies to ideology as part of bitter China-US rivalry. More than 100 Confucius Institutes, important vehicles for the promotion of Chinese language and culture, have been shut down on campuses in the United States, Europe and Australia in recent years, because of concerns over Beijing's influence. Growing negative views on China, largely in response to Beijing's policies in Xinjiang, Hong Kong and the South China Sea, have also contributed to the decline in the number of Western universities hosting Confucius Institutes. The United Arab Emirates, with a population of 9.3 million and the world's seventh-largest oil reserves, was the first Gulf state to include Mandarin in its national education system. According to figures from the Chinese embassy in Abu Dhabi, with Beijing's help, the UAE started a Chinese language program in 100 schools in 2019 that expanded last year to 158 public schools. In 2020, Egypt signed a Memorandum of Understanding with China to adopt Mandarin as an elective for a second foreign language subject at primary and secondary school levels. However, this leads to some problems with teaching activities and human resources. According to Ma Yongliang, there are serious shortages of Chinese language teachers in the Middle East. Local governments needed to invest more in hiring qualified instructors. He also noted that Mandarin was one of the most difficult languages to master and China was still regarded as a remote country with a very different cultural background by many people in the Middle East. In the UAE, where most people are expatriates, Chinese language courses are taught from kindergarten to high school, with pupils required to take 2 lessons every week. According to several Chinese language teachers working in the UAE, teacher shortages and budget constraints mean that not every school can offer the language programs. The teachers said they were working 26 to 28 class hours every week because of the high demand for Chinese language lessons. The maximum number of weekly hours permitted is 30. One of several teachers interviewed by the South China Morning Post said, "This is really heavy, to be honest, because we are short of hands, and I don't even have time to go to the restroom during the break." And in July, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi, hosted by President Xi Jinping on a state visit to Beijing in February, endorsed a law adding Mandarin to the list of foreign languages that can be taught in middle and high schools across the country. China's influence in the Middle East has never been more evident. In December, while his country was still experiencing COVID-19 lockdowns, Xi flew to Riyadh for regional summits with leaders from the oil-rich Gulf Arab nations. 3 months later, Beijing surprised the world by brokering a peace initiative between Saudi Arabia and Iran. This was followed by a series of rapprochements in the conflict-torn region, including Iran's resumption of formal diplomatic relations with Morocco and Egypt. The UAE and Qatar, as well as Turkey and Egypt, also agreed to resume diplomatic ties. According to Gill, with no sign that tensions with the West will abate soon, Beijing is likely to turn its eye to Africa, the Middle East and Latin America, regions where China can exert soft power through Chinese language education. However, he said, it remained to be seen if Mandarin could put down deeper roots in the Middle East. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from Understand China, and thank you for tuning in.